Measuring incomings and outgoings is extremely important. To go back a year in transactions, most banks should allow CSV exports. I hold some properties personally and others in a limited company. Both my banks allow CSV exports. Spending on software is an option, but this analysis can be quick and efficient in Microsoft Excel. Download transactions and build a pivot table. Order smallest to largest transactions. As debits are negative, this will show transactions in order of the largest expenses. All TMW and free mortgages can be seen to be grouped together. A quick way to flag unexpected expenses is to address them and cut down on them in future. The next stage is to use this information to plan a budget. Find the average expenditure per month after eradicating wasteful spending. You cannot borrow money from a bank to buy stocks or gold, but you can borrow to buy property because property has a long track record of increasing in value. It's very useful that we can therefore leverage to buy a property. As a rule of thumb, for a property you are considering buying, divide the property value by 3.5. This is generally the amount including stamp duty and legal fees that you will need to put into the property. Then calculate how long it will take to save to buy your first buy-to-let property. Find an area where buy-to-let will work. It's not true that you need to live near properties you buy. Properties should be managed by a reputable agency, preferably an ALA registered agency. When investigating an area, ask 2 to 3 agencies in the area where BTL works, and then start to look for properties in these areas, as time is more important than money. It's a better idea to have your property fully managed, as you will not need to deal with the tenant issues. Time spent dealing with tenants, which should not in itself be a huge amount of time if tenants are selected by a good agency, should instead be spent on finding new opportunities or on your current job if you have one. Typically agencies charge 10% plus VAT. I've seen some agencies charging 4% or 7%, and from my understanding this does not seem to be a sustainable business model, and you will most likely get what you pay for. Low quality service that will create even more problems later on. Agency selection is important. I had tenants that stole furniture, ran off and didn't pay rent. I had another tenant who left owing £2,000 worth of rent. A good agency will not place such tenants in your property. I've also been told that if you opt for the fully managed option, then the agency will place tenants that are likely to be easier to handle in your property, as the agency will have to deal with the tenants rather than you yourself. I have self-managed multiple of my properties for years. I was working at the time. Overall it is not that much work and can be done, but properties laws change often and it's better to get a professional agency to deal with such matters.